Hey, Harmonites. So all week, I have done a series, especially with personal growth and being on this journey that I am on my purpose and how to evolve, and that's what this whole channel is about, is evolving, and to give you some lessons on that, but also to share with you my personal experiences on some of these things that come up. But I did a couple of videos this week, and if you haven't done so already, please take the time to go back and watch them earlier this week. One was questions to ask before hiring a mentor, the types of healers that are out there. Are you ready to invest? Are you ready to invest in a mentor? And the feeling of being stuck and the progress to your dreams. And we kind of went on and into that. And today's episode, I really wanted to concentrate on a facet that's actually part of being stuck, and that's the perfection block. In one of the polls that I had on there, someone had added, one of the things that makes them feel stuck in their personal goal is that they're thinking that they have to be perfect, that they absolutely have to be perfect. And, the last video kind of just went through a little bit of the variations of being stuck and what that means, and that stuck's an illusion. But I wanted to give you a perfect example of the perfection block. I struggle with this all the time. I wanted to dive deeper into this, and that's why I'm bringing it up. The perfection block. I struggle with this. Because as an artist, as a creative person, you can easily get blocked because it's not good enough to put out there. These are fears that come up, okay? And things that we have discussed in the last episode. But I wanted to give you a little bit more examples of these fears and actually what this channel came about. So one of the things that had kept me stuck, and this is a lot in any of my creative adventures that I have taken, is that it wasn't perfect. I needed to be finessed, and I had to keep going back to it. And as a writer, as a videographer, as a photographer, this is something that I struggled over and over and over again. And I would say I waste so much time trying to make it perfect rather than just getting it out there and getting the message out there and letting it evolve and getting over that fear of it. This is the perfect example. This channel is the perfect example. Here's something where I am in the midst of my life where I don't have all the necessary tools to make this perfect edited video, but I'm using what I can. I'm on my freaking phone right now. I don't have editing equipment set up because everything's in storage. I have my light box is like on a chair right now facing me. And I'm just doing what I can. I'm creating the space and letting it be because I want to show you how it is to evolve so that not only I can look back at how much I had grown, but to be an example, of that, to show you that it is possible to do stuff without it being perfect, that you are open to make mistakes. Because I can tell you right now, especially from past experiences with my photography business, I actually didn't start it out as a photography business. I started it out as a photo montage business back in the day when people wanted to restore their photos and put it to music. And this is before all like copyright got really big and everything. I was taking people's photos and I was restoring them, and then I was putting them to music and editing them. And it just kind of came out that way. And I knew that I was a photographer. I knew I had these creative things that I want to perceive, but I wasn't at that comfort level of doing my own stuff. I was editing other people's work. And I was like, am I truly happy doing this? Am I ready to take the leap? And, am I ready to put all this money into all this equipment to get? Do I need the best of the best? I can tell you right now, you don't. Not to start. Nope. The only blocks that we have are ourselves. And that perfection block can be the biggest one that stops us from growth. And it's something that I would love to hear some personal stories of the perfection block and how people have gone through it. So if you are a person who has gone through a perfection block and has evolved and it has been a success story, because 99% they are success stories. And even if you fail, it is a success because you learn something from it, right? But I'd like to hear from you because I want to start doing spotlights of people who get through these blocks. And this group is not just about me, it's about other people going through this journey. So I really want to start bringing those people on. So if you have a story that you want to share, please feel free to reach out to me. Everything's in the description on this video on how to contact me. And we can talk, maybe we can talk something a little bit more on these perfection blocks, or you can give us an example of how you broke through it. Now, I can tell you right now how I broke through it was just by getting started. So how did my vlogging start? I started my vlogging a year ago. I was more of a writer. So I always wrote. I always kept a diary. I kept a diary since I was 7. It's something that I'm really grateful I had because I can look back, and some people are like, oh, how do you, who wants to look back at their old, diary entries and things like that? But I am so grateful I had that because I was able to heal so much. And that's what this journey is about. It's about healing. And these, no matter, and the reason this feeling of being stuck is in this series of videos I'm doing with healing is because that is something that needs to be healed. It absolutely needs to be healed. And so it is a big subject of feeling stuck and feeling that you have to be perfect because you have fears that come up. So yeah, it's absolutely something that has to be healed. And when I was doing these diary entries, I had to start understanding what it felt like were my feelings, right? What was coming up. And even though it was in words, I wasn't really seeing how my feelings were being portrayed. So I decided to video myself, vlog, as part of my therapy and my growth, okay? And I vlogged for over a year. I have vault footage of me talking in the car to myself on my lunch break, or, just getting out of the shower, or just waking up. I would just kind of do my diary. And what was coming out of that was I started to build this confidence up in myself, right? And I realized that I had some messages in there that weren't just for me, that I felt like, well, maybe this could be inspiring for other people. But I was like, no, that's just too crazy to put out there. That's being really vulnerable. And I don't think anything that I have to say is going to be important. Nah. And I'd have to make a video, and I'd have to edit it, and I would have to make it look, because no one's going to watch some chick on YouTube just talking in a mic. Who does that? Well, I can tell you right now, I do. I actually, when I started going through self-help or trying to look up stuff, the first thing I was going to was Google and YouTube, because, I was like, I can't bring up this shit that I have. I don't know if I'm ready to bring it up to somebody professionally. Let me do some research. And I found all these people. And I'm like, man, look at all these authentic people. And I was drawn to all these people who were passionate about giving their message out and just doing it and being happy about it. And I was like, these people look so happy. They're doing what they want to do. Why can't I do that? Why can't I just be out there? Why do I always have to be behind the camera? I put myself behind the camera. That was my block, everything, especially with perfection, because when you have the fears of what your family is going to think, or what your friends are going to think, or loved ones in general, you have those fears that come up, but always the fears that come out are failure, or you're going to look like an idiot. And how can you build yourself up to it? So I have all of these videos that I'm still looking at. I'm going, I think I'm going to bring them out. I think I'm going to bring some of this vault footage out down the road for you guys to see how much I changed. And not just see me from a mental state, physically, I started changing. Physically, you could see me changing and getting this weird confidence that came about out of this. And, when I was approached with my friend, and she was a mentor, and she's, my soul sister, Johanna Burkhart. I always give her a shout out. When we had talked about doing a show on, all the weird stuff that happens, and being wanting to know more about it, and her and I just chit-chatting, we would always chit-chat and be like, man, we should record this shit. The stuff we find or what interests us, man, we should just do this. And we talked about it for, months. And she actually she flew out from North Carolina here in New Jersey to visit me. And we chit-chatted about it. We had a blast. And, a couple more months passed because I was still going through some things. I was in midst of relocation and everything. Johanna was ready. Like she was at a different level than I was. And I was at the point where I was feeling stuck. And what got me unstuck was all of the lessons and taking the time to listen to myself. That was the most important one. But was also is that I took the leap of investing with someone who is an energy healer and an educator. She really is an educator more than anything, as a mentor. And she taught me the importance of energy and what you were putting in there. And it was a lot of shadow work, right? A lot of shadow work and loving your dark side, all the things that you might not like about you. And when I took that, and I had some of these lessons before, something just clicked with me in that. And I took that and I went. I remember I called up Johanna. I was like, okay, I think I'm ready now. Well, I'm at my new location, which is temporary now, my temporary location. I have my phone. I bought a mic, but that's all I got. And her and I had made a couple of videos that we were trying to perfect, right? We got in our own freaking trap. There's an episode, our first premiere episode. I will put a link on there for you guys to watch for the breakdown, but you will actually see us talk about how we got stuck in the perfection trap because, Johanna also is a perfectionist. She likes to, she's professional. So she likes to have things done a certain way and nothing was working out. And we couldn't figure out what the hell was going on until we both realized we have to go live. We can't record this shit. We have to go live. We just said to ourselves that we don't have time or we don't want to do the editing right now, right? We just want to get the message out there. Why don't we just get out there? So we started to do that. So once we started to do that and I had, kind of went down the rabbit hole, she was like, well, what about Harmonia? You've been talking about Harmonia. And I'm like, fuck, I got to start on Harmonia now. I got to start working on Harmonia. And then I started going through that loophole of like, do I need to make this perfect? And then I was like, well, listen, I just had the biggest lesson with the breakdown. This doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point of this journey is to show how I evolved, to showcase that. So if you feel that you are a perfectionist, here I am. I'm your perfect example of not being a perfectionist anymore. I'm here raw and authentic. You either love it or you're like, oh my God, this girl's the best. And I'm okay with it. I'm at the level of confidence that if I get bad critique or good critique, I'm going to take it. I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to still push myself to go further. And I believe everyone has this in them. If you like this video, go ahead and take the time to hit like. If you feel guided to subscribe, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell if you want to be subscribed and notified for the next upcoming videos. Have a great day.